Hello, I'm Avery Harris and this is Ravio Freight. In today's video, what I'm going to be doing is telling you what the differences are between a company driver and an owner operator. What I do want to say first off and foremost is that I'm not going to be saying one's better than the other. You know, it really depends on where you're at in life and where you're trying to go. So just take this information and figure out which one suits you better. Before I get started today, I just want to go ahead and say to subscribe to the channel. This channel is about trucking. So whether you're a carrier, broker, dispatcher, if you're trying to be one of the three, then you should definitely subscribe because we're going to be talking about that. Now, let me go ahead and get started. First off with saying what the differences are between a company driver and an owner operator. So essentially what the difference is between a company driver and an owner operator is that the company driver is an employee versus the owner operator is not an employee. They are their own individual business and they will sign a contract with the company to perform this certain business, which is to haul freight. Let's talk about the benefits for being a company driver. One is that you actually get benefits. You know, you get dental, vision, and health insurance after, a certain amount of time that you got to be with the company, whether they say it's a month or 3 months and so on and so forth. But you also might get certain employee discounts. Like for example, my phone bill was like 20% off at a specific company because I was one of their employees, which is always nice to have little perks when a company has those because not every company has that. Another benefit to being a company driver is that there's no startup costs. You want to go ahead and sign on with a company, you go ahead and sign on. There's no out-of-pocket fee for that. Another benefit is that there are no maintenance fees for you. If you end up breaking down somewhere on your route, then it's the company's job to go ahead and pay for whatever is wrong with the truck. The only thing that you'll end up being responsible for is to make sure that the person, whoever the mechanic is, make sure that they get to you. So now that I've talked about some of the advantages of a company driver, let me go ahead and talk about some of the disadvantages. First off being that you'll get a W-2 as a company driver. So you'll get money withheld from you off every paycheck. So I don't like that personally, and I don't think you'll like it either. The next disadvantage I got for you is that you might not have as much time off as you want. For most jobs, you'll end up getting about 2 weeks off, not including holidays. But it also goes by seniority. So with that being said, you don't get to exactly choose which days you get off. You might want 4th of July off or something like that, for example. But somebody else that has seniority has already decided they wanted that day off. So now you got to pick something else. So the next disadvantage I got for you is that you might not be in the same truck, which means that if you like to keep your truck clean, if you just clean the truck, then you might end up, having to clean this next truck that you're about to be in. Or let's say you filled the gas tank up to full in one truck, but the other truck that you got to get in tomorrow is on E. The last disadvantage I got for you may or may not be an annoyance to you. But one is that some of these companies have their trucks governed. And if you don't know what that means, it has a limit on how fast you can go with some of these trucks. And that limit is usually at 65 miles an hour. The next thing is that some of these companies also have cameras in their trucks. If there's an accident or something like that, then the camera will record the inside of the cab and it'll record the outside so it knows what's going on. And up to maybe like 10 seconds before the accident happened. Or even if there's not an accident or something, if you just hit like a bump hard or something like that, the camera could go off. Some people might think it's an invasion of privacy, others may not. That is, a disadvantage based on, a personal preference. So now that I talked about being a company owner, let's go ahead and talk about being a owner operator. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of that? The biggest advantage is that you get to be your own boss, which kind of segues into something else that I want to talk about, which is you get more freedom. And not only do you get more freedom to just have time off, but you also get more freedom to choose where you want to go. If you look at some of these jobs for owner operator, you can see that they say that there's no forced dispatch, which means if you don't want to go a certain area, then you don't have to go to a certain area. Versus being a company driver, you might not want to go do this certain route, but that's all they got, so you're going to go do that route. Another benefit is that you won't get any money withheld from you for taxes. So at the end of the year, once you go to do your taxes, you have the option to write off some of your expenses. Another thing that you cannot do when you're a company driver. There are some things that you could do as far as write-offs that are very nice. And we talk about that in another video that should pop up right about now. If it doesn't pop up yet, then it'll be coming out pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. You have the advantage of being in the same truck. So you don't have to worry about, cleaning up after anybody else or having to keep refueling because nobody else want to fuel the truck because they know that you'll be the person fueling the truck all the time. So with that being said, the last benefit I got for you is just having the potential to make more money. You have the potential to make more money than a company driver. Now you have a lot more expenses than a company driver, but even with that being said, you still have the potential to earn more. So let's go ahead and talk about the disadvantages of being an owner operator. And honestly, the biggest disadvantage of being an owner operator is the expenses. You got to pay for insurance. You got to pay for your own health benefits. You got to pay for any repairs that are going to happen to the truck. And of course, if the truck goes down, if you don't have another backup truck, bought, or if you're not going to rent out another truck, then you are just going to be out of commission until the truck gets repaired. Not only are you just losing money out of pocket, but you're not able to make money for that next day either. So do your pre-trips and your post-trips so you can find anything that happens that might be small. You can stop it from becoming a large deal later. Because you need your own equipment, you're going to have a truck first. So the startup cost is going to be a lot more. And depending on if you want just your truck or if you want a truck plus a trailer or a flatbed or whatever you want to run, then that cost is going to be even more. But with that being said, I have given you the advantages and disadvantages of being an owner operator. I gave you the differences of being an owner operator versus being a company driver. So let me know what you think of the video. Were there any advantages or disadvantages that I left out? If so, leave them in the comment section below. And of course, if you like this video, why don't you go ahead and like the video. Also subscribe to the channel as well as stay notified so you can see our next videos that we got planned. Thanks for watching.